So, just a little intro about me is I am a severe child abuse victim. Some of you already have heard my story. My story made national media, but it wasn't until it was, almost too late. I remember the last time that I had seen my parents, the afternoon that the day I left, the day I ran away. Um, that afternoon, I was standing in the living room, and we had a long apartment in Chicago off Western and Devon. Some people would call it the Rogers Park area, but the apartments didn't have really have rooms side by side. They were just long. So you had your kitchen in the back, and then there was a little bedroom off the side of it, and then you get into your dining room on the other side of the kitchen, and then there was the apartments weren't wide; they were more long than anything. So the rooms were oblong, and I remember standing in that dining room, um, and being able to look through one end of the house and then into the other end of the house and see how intimidating it was, knowing that whenever I would get abused and beat by the woman that I was with, good morning, um, the woman that called herself my mother, I would have to make it that far away from her, and that's part of the thing that I dreaded was having to run from this woman whenever she would abuse me for no reason, just because she was cracked out of her mind, with cocaine and stuff like that, and she was just really she became a monster. And the day that I ran away, it was about 5 o'clock in the evening. It was starting to get cold out, and I she sent me to the grocery store, and I went to the grocery store and she had a laundry list of stuff for me to get. She wanted that flat sandwich like steak. She wanted the okey doke popcorn. She wanted a bottle of soy sauce, a loaf of bread, and a gallon of milk. And I remember just like it was yesterday. I ran down the apartment stairs. I ran down the street. I ran down the sidewalk as fast as I could. Got all the way down to off of Devon, Western Devon. If you go down Devon in Chicago, there's a store called Par Birdie, Par Birdie, Par Birdie. And the reason I give you guys specifics when I talk about this stuff is a lot of people they think that I'm lying about things. But if you can give them specifics, I don't say a lot of people. Some people think that I'm lying when I tell these vivid stories and stuff like that. But how do you make this stuff up? It's not something you make up. People are just evil, I think. But anyway, Par Birdie was the store. I ran down there as fast as I could, and I tried to get all the groceries. And they didn't have her okey doke popcorn, the hot stuff okey doke popcorn. Whenever she would get high, she would have the munchies for this stuff, and she would want it on demand, right? So they didn't have it, and I knew she would freak out if I came home without it. So I ran five blocks the other way as fast as I could, just all the way downtown as fast as I could, all the way to Western Devon. Made a left on Western, headed over to the liquor store, and sure enough, they had the popcorn that she liked whenever she got high when she was cracked out of her mind. And I got it and I brought it home, and she asked me why I was gone so long. And I'm telling her I was only gone an extra 5 minutes because good morning, because they didn't have the popcorn that you wanted at the other store. And she said, go in the bedroom and strip off your clothes. And I'm trying to figure out what happened. Why am I getting in trouble for this? I don't understand what's going on. I got what you asked me to get, and why do I have to go in the bedroom and take off my clothes? So I go into the front of the house, and she took the living room and she turned the living room into her bedroom. And she had a big king size bed in the center of the living room that would face a wall. And the bed would sit this way, and the walls all the way around one side were all mirrored with glass. And these mirrors all the way around, good morning, these mirrors all the way around were basically put in place so while she slept with different men, she could record herself with a security camera and she could get all the different angles and footage with this camera picking up all this different stuff. And mind you, I remember as early as 7 years old walking in on this woman and watching her or seeing her sleeping with the old man that she was with plus his son at the same time. And at 8, 9, 10 years old, seeing stuff like this happen, it almost becomes normal to you. And there were many nights that I would walk in with her, hundreds of different men over the years, just whatever she wanted, that's the woman was a hoe. And the old man that she was with, he was okay with it. So the way her bed was set up, the bed was set up this way, and there were mirrors around the wall. And there's an entertainment system over here. And there's a security camera facing the bed from the entertainment system. And they would run the wires underneath the carpet into the spare room that's off to the side. And that's how she would record herself without people seeing the monitors and the wires and everything else, is because it would run underneath the carpet. And there was a little small room off to the side where the monitor would sit. And I went in there and I went in her bedroom where she told me to go, and I took off all my clothes. I laid across the end of the bed. She went to the front closet and she pulled this long, real long studded belt out. It had these metal studs all the way down it. And she went and turned the monitor on. I'm gonna try not to get emotional. I'm gonna try. She went and turned the monitor on in the room. I could see the light turn on through the mirrors. As I'm laying over the end of the bed, I can see my reflection in these mirrors. And the light from the camera turn on. And she starts walking into the living room. She's got this studded belt in her hand. She's got metal pieces all the way down it for designer things. She didn't give me a warning or anything. She just takes that thing like she's some kind of slave owner, and just right across the back of my head. I mean, the first lick instantly right across the back of my head, I could feel that it was like wet. Something was coming out of like my skull. And then she just over and over and over again, from my neck down to my knees, cut my back open, blood all over the place. I got beat like that for about an hour and a half. My body was black and blue. It was all bloodied up. She took me and stuck me in one of the small bedrooms, and I'm laying there, and I can't move. I can't even feel most of the pain anymore because my body has got so numb. She laid me in this bed, and that's how I laid for almost 2 weeks. I couldn't get up. I couldn't move and walk around the house. I couldn't get up to help the babies or go grocery shopping. I had to heal from what she just did. I had to eat my food while laying on my belly. She would just drop something off in the bedroom on the bed, and I would have to lay on my belly and eat my food from the side because I couldn't move my body. Everything had to heal. This led into many more situations where I would I'm just here to tell what really happens, and that people don't understand. Maybe they do understand, they just don't want to talk about it. So I think part of the reason I'm here is to give some inspiration to other people. Some of you see that I have posted my story already that was in the Chicago Tribune. This is back in 1999. and I just could never get out and talk about it. And when these little girls pop up, people start to listen. And I've been trying to talk about it for years, but nobody listened. Nobody, over the years, even as an adult, with me trying to talk to people in public and try to talk to people on social media about what's really going on out there, nobody listened. Nobody did. Nobody cared enough to listen. I mean, there were a few people, but the majority of people didn't want to hear it until these two little girls popped up. It wasn't a thing. People didn't want to address it. But now these two little girls pop up, and to a sense, they become social media stars. Now everybody wants to listen. Everybody wants to do something about it. People want to do something about it when we've turned to protesting in the streets for injustice. When we've turned to social media becoming something much, much bigger than just the regular media and news stations are. Now we want to listen. Now we want to listen when we've had years and years and years and years of this going on from the beginning of time, and nobody wanted to listen. And I'm getting these messages on my channel, and it's very concerning to me. It's very concerning to me because people leave me messages like they want me to talk bad about other people. People leave me messages like they want me to go find 10 to Life and talk bad about her, or they want me to go find this other girl that I mentioned in the heading. What's her name? Carrie or something. I never knew about these people until people were coming to my channel because they know I'm an abuse victim, and they want me to go yell and scream at these people for doing what they're doing because they're putting children on social media. They're all of a sudden the top detectives on Facebook that are trying to find out all the ins and outs of everything that's going on. I mean, I'm not here to bash them. I'm not here to tell either one of them that they're wrong. I'm not here to talk bad and say I have all the answers for everything, because I don't. Honestly, if it wasn't for those two women, the story wouldn't have been as big as it is. If it wasn't for people like them, like me, that are talking about this, she probably would have got no help. There was a ton of pressure put on, me calling up the police, me calling up CPS, me calling up, the national hotline, trying to figure out what's going on. Hey, what's going on with this girl? What's going on with this girl? And you start talking about it enough, and you start getting your voice, and they're hearing what's going on about the people that are being abused in society. They start doing something about it because now they know there's a social presence. You know what I do when I call them up? I call up CPS and I say, look, I'm not trying to start any problems with you guys. I'm out of here with only respect. I'm out here calling you with just the utmost respect. And, I don't necessarily care for the CPS system, but when I engage them, I talk respectfully to them because I want something to be done. And I say I'm a part of a Patriot network, and I tell them what network that is. And I said I'm one of the administrators that run this group. And there are thousands of Patriots just like me. And we demand something be done. If you don't do something about this, I cannot guarantee that people are not going to take to the streets. They're not going to protest and cause a scene. And unfortunately, people want justice for this. Can I get some kind of answers? Can I get some kind of explanation? Can you tell me something about what's going on? And then they start to talk. They don't tell you everything because they can't, because the child's involved. Then they start to give you little bits and pieces, little nuggets of information, or some hope that something's eventually going to get done. Well, when you start doing that, and enough people start coming forward, and the social media presence grows very, very large, they almost feel like they're backed into a corner, and either they fight or they give in and they do something. And a lot of times they give in and they do something. So I can't talk about either one of these ladies and say either one of them are wrong for doing what they did. Coming from an extreme abuse victim, the things that I went through, I can look back at my story and reference something to say, look, I couldn't have said it any better. This lady is right. This is what happened. Or, you know what? maybe it didn't happen exactly like this, but it would be easier for me to let her tell you my story because I'm still so emotional about it, and then I'll correct or fill in anything in between. But instead, we want to attack people. People have went to this other girl's channel, not 10 to Life, this other girl's channel, and they pressured her into feeling bad about what she was doing. She had seen enough comments on social media to where people were saying, I can't believe these YouTubers are monetizing these videos and stuff like this, and they're making money off these girls' story. That's life. If you can make some kind of monetization off a real life story and then turn around and give it back to society in some kind of positive way, which these girls do, that's life. That's how life works. I mean, buckle up, pull up your big girl boots, your big boy boots. That's life. These people are doing what they do to try to get the message out there, right? You see, I got a small channel. I don't make anything off this channel. My money comes from what I do as my profession at work. I don't need the money from this channel. But the stuff that I do make from this channel, I turn around and I pay somebody's cell phone bill in need. I take a family that's going without shopping. I find people that may need an extra $100 for groceries or something for the month, and I'll send them a $100 gift card. Go back and look at my previous videos from over a year ago, and you'll see that every little piece of money that I get from this, it goes right back into the community. It doesn't go to me. I don't use this money for myself. This money does nothing for me. You know, you can see many videos where I've done giveaways of like a family that needs a new dish set or something like that, or they need new plates, new pots and pans or something, and I order something up and send it to them. I lose my ass on this channel a lot of times, but that's not the reason why I do this. I do this so I can communicate and I can network with people, and it feels like a family. A lot of people don't understand that once you start getting into that social media presence and the embodiment of building subscribers and stuff like that to stick around for you and your own true content, the reason they're there is because they feel some kind of connection with you. It's not because they think that you're trying to screw somebody over or something like that. You do have your trolls that latch on sometimes that just want to cause problems for people, but these ladies did nothing. And the subscribers should be ashamed of themselves for going over there to this other girl's page and making her feel bad about monetizing her channel, and then turning around and making it, forcing her, basically, because of peer pressure, to give up the monetization that she made off that channel, which, you know what, it is what it is. This is what I'm hearing. So many people are focused on somebody else getting further ahead in life and helping out more than the rest of everybody else in life, and they have to dog them, they have to bash them. If it wasn't for these ladies, nothing probably would have got done in the time that it did get done. Luckily, they were able to put a constructive message together and put it out to social media, and something get done. You know, it's concerning because I go over to the other girl's page, and I do hear her talking bad about other YouTubers. I do hear her saying that, you know, I've donated all the 800 and something dollars that I made from, you know, these couple videos that I did, and I'm not going to make these videos anymore. And well, that's sad. It's really sad that you made an impact and you helped like you did, but now because of your subscriber base and the type of people that are leaving these negative comments, you've chosen to not carry the same message and do the same thing anymore. I don't understand how, you know, there is some truth to people using other people for gain. I'm not going to say 10 to Life is innocent in that, but what I am going to say is whatever she did, it was helping heavily. Now, there are some things that some people ask me to address. I don't know the father's legal situation. I don't even know the mother's complete legal situation with Sophie or Sloane. I only know what you guys tell me and what I can find on the internet, which a lot of times is not even half of what it is. It's only what we see. Now, Sophie's father. Some people said, well, he took them to the clinic. He took the son to the clinic, and they found that he tested positive for cocaine and marijuana. Well, cocaine goes through your system very quick. So if that was the case, the father had to give the son the cocaine before they went to the clinic at some time. You don't know that scenario though. You only know what you're being told on social media. It's the same thing with Sloane. The mom, she's on camera crying and stuff like that, but from what I understand, she's got a past of her own where she's not all there. So everybody wants to point the finger at the father and say the father's hurting her, when the only thing that they've got out of Sloane so far is the fact that her tummy hurts. He does something to where her makes her tummy hurt. That was the original thing. Forget all everything that's come out now. That was the original thing that set everything off. I know something's probably wrong there, right? And you got to get to the bottom of that. But so many people poorly react to things and then point the finger at everybody else. And I think it's emotions. It's because they can't go help other people. They feel bad about it, and they feel like they have to do something. So sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Some people leave messages on my channel. How could you bring up this girl's name? How could you talk about the family and stuff? I understand the situation, and I understand that that it's helping and stuff like that. But this girl's gonna look back at this 10 years from now, and she's gonna be so embarrassed. This is the reason why she probably ended up getting help as fast as she did, because nobody really did this type of thing before. There's a bunch of people on social media and in the public that came together and made these girls' names known all over the world. It was because of what's happening with them that everybody in the world got to see who they were and demanded that they get help. And it moved things along. I can't fault them for that, and I'm not going to talk bad about them for that. I don't know the whole entire situation with the father. The father put her on social media. The father did break the gag order and stuff like that the judge put in place for Sophie. I get it. I get it. But so did the mother. A lot of people are saying there are men in the hotel room the night before the father got the kids back that did more stuff to Sophie. I can't speak for that. We don't have video. We can hear people in the background. We don't know exactly what's being said, but people claim that they know exactly what's being said. It's it's a very, very, very emotional time right now, and it's very, very hard to deal with the entire situation because um, people will people are trying to just jump on this, and they're trying to point the finger at somebody. And I think the justice that was served for each situation, what has and hasn't been served, it's easier for somebody to come forward aggravated and say it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, out of emotions, because they want somebody to pay for something, even if it's not the person that had anything to do with it. They're wanting to point the finger. They're wanting to make somebody else feel bad. And I'm telling you guys right now, as a child abuse victim myself, please stop doing that. Please stop going to these ladies' channels and harassing them over something like that. I wish both of them, I don't know if 10 to Life said anything about this. I don't know if her name is Critical K or something like that. Please let them do what they do. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. It has helped tremendously. Don't force them into to doing something that they don't feel comfortable doing, and don't go to their channels if you don't like the content that they're putting out and then try to make them feel bad about what they're doing. You don't know the intent of what's going on, and until you know the intent of what's going on, some random YouTuber like Critical K talking about 10 to Life, saying that she before, and this is too far for me. This is when you start to cross the line as a YouTuber, and you lose that professional look about yourself, or that social media public figure look about yourself. And this is not me talking bad about Critical K, but this is where I turned out. I was done after this. When you go into somebody's life and you backtrack their content, and you say, well, look at this 6 months ago. They were getting 7,000 views, 8,000 views, 5,000 views, 20,000 views. Well, then all of a sudden, let's look at the social media stuff with Sophie and Sloane, or Sophie. Oh, 230,000 views, 240,000 views. Oh, she went from 5,000 subscribers or whatever to 70,000 subscribers in a few months or something like that. It happens. People do that stuff all the time. There was a kid that was on here, well, like a year ago, year and a half ago. His name was Airsoft Fatty. Literally, he's this kid he's like 19 years old or something like that, and he's the geekiest dude ever. Like 400 pound, 450 pound, overweight kid, not healthy at all. Funny kid, geeky kid into Star Wars and little lightsaber plastic dueling with his friends, and this kid fell over a garbage can in the middle of a video, and because he fell over and that impact of his body and his visceral fat kind of bouncing around all over the place, and the image of this young fat kid that was fighting with plastic swords falls over. 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000, 300,000, 400,000 subscribers. I mean, all it takes is one hiccup that could be super positive and people blow up overnight. Now I could go back and I could look at that kid and say, well, he was on public aid. He was hooked on drugs. He didn't have a job. He's using the system. I could go back and I could say all these things about him that I could probably dig into. But why? Why would I want to go back and do all that? Why would I want to go back and point out the fact that he used to have 5,000 views instead of 1,000,000 views on his videos? It's none of my business. I'm here to do my job as a good person and spread awareness about child trafficking, child abuse, human trafficking, organ farming. These are things that are going on all over the world. I'm here to talk about the nasty George Soros and the pedophiles and stuff of the world and put them in their place, hold them accountable. I'm here to talk about those people. The John Podesta art. If you haven't Googled John Podesta art, check it out. It is some of the most disgusting stuff you'll ever see in your life. And these are children that are in shackles, that have been tortured and abused and stuff like that. And this is art that's up in John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Chelsea Clinton. This is art that's up in these people's homes. This is art of children being tortured, and they're all friends with this guy. These things that people need to talk about and be exposed to what's going on in the world, and they don't know. But instead, we're worried about looking at some YouTuber that all of a sudden is starting to get a little success, and they're using their platforms to help other people in the meantime. Regardless of what that reason is or how they're doing it, they're still helping other people. So, like, people that come to my channel and want me to go talk bad about these people and stuff like that, I really wish you guys would stop doing that, man. Just quit going to these other channels trying to find out, trying to point the finger and make somebody out to be a liar. Because a lot of you, that's what you're doing. You feel good on one channel because they're talking bad about somebody else, and you latch onto that channel, and then you go to other people's channels and you're like, hey, go check out Critical K. She tells you the true story about Sophie and 10 to Life. Hey, go check out 10 to Life. She tells you the true story about, what's going on with Sophie. Don't listen to that Critical K girl. And it's like, man, you don't have no time. There's nothing better to do. You don't have nothing more productive to do in life than to come here and tell me about all the little tattling going back and forth, because I'm a national media child abuse victim. So people want to come to me as if I'm some kind of authoritative figure, and I'm not. Only thing that I had that makes me any kind of authoritative figure on is knowing what kind of real life sucks sometimes when you're in the trenches and you got to pull yourself out of it. I could tell you about that. But my experience is not the same as somebody else. And who am I to point the finger at anybody else and say they're wrong? I don't think either one of these girls are wrong. I wish they'd be kind to each other, they would be nice to each other, and they would leave each other alone. And the subscribers would stop attacking each other and then coming to me. It's like a big shit show, everybody trying to fight with each other. It just makes no sense. We're all in this for a good reason. And it should be nobody else putting pressure on somebody that's trying to help. And if you don't agree with their message, then you could politely tell them, hey, look, I understand your heart's in the right place. I don't necessarily know that I would put this out this way, but I wanted to just reach out and say something to you and let you know my thoughts on everything. And if you say something like that to me, I'll say, you know what, I appreciate your feedback. Ultimately, this is still my channel. I still feel right about doing this, and I will consider what you have to say. Now, if you come to my channel, like it's happened many times, and people are like, oh, you're such a monster for putting Sophie's name out there and talking about this and talking about that. I'm like, hey, yeah, bro, get bent, man. Go somewhere else because I really don't care what you have to say. There's a level of respect that you give somebody else, and there's a level of communication that you should try to adhere to in order to get your message across. If you're one of those people that just get emotional and start trash talking people right away, you're not going to solve anybody's problem, and you're not going to help anybody. At the end of the day, this is a channel that the individual YouTuber runs. And that person has to do what they feel is best for that channel. And people come and subscribe to that channel based on what they see from that person, how genuine they are. Do they feel some kind of connection? Do they just like I've had ladies show up on my channel and say, oh, you got a nice, caveman scruffy beard. I'm going to subscribe to your channel. Whatever, dude. If that's what does it for you, then I'll leave the beard on. You know, it's kind of one of those things where why don't people just let other people be instead of trying to create some kind of turmoil in their life? We need to stop doing that. We need to quit doing that, especially right now in this time that we're in. Everything is so mixed up and people are trying to hurt each other right now. We need to quit this stuff. Seriously. Quit coming to me and telling me that you want me to go yell at this person or go check out this person's video. Coming to the channel and saying, well, Sophie's no better off with her dad because of the stuff that he did to her son or to their son. And Sloane's no better with the mom because of the stuff that the mom did at one time. And I'm like, man, I get it, guys. I get that you guys are serious about this, and I go dig into things too, and I do live videos where I look at these things and I try to take people along with me as I investigate them. But I don't do this stuff like you do. A lot of you guys out there just go to somebody's page and you just latch onto and you run with it as it's fact, and then you go spread it all over social media because it's something that's connecting with you. It's not necessarily the truth. Just because you connect with that statement doesn't mean that it's truth. Remember that. I get that, Dolores. I get that. I get that she's much better with her father. I get that everybody feels like, he's the right fit. I feel like that is too. I feel like that's where she belongs. Now, I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. None of us know what's going on behind closed doors. But what I can tell you is the fact that I just don't like how everything all of a sudden has turned into, if you're talking about the abuse victims, you're a bad person. If you're talking about these children and talking and saying their name and stuff like that, when that's what people wanted you to do before, and now all of a sudden it's the bad thing because there's a few people perpetuating that, it just doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So I told people a couple of days ago I was going to make this video, and I said I was going to make it the next day. Then I said I was going to make it the next day, and I didn't make the video. And I finally said, you know what, after the last message this morning, I got to talk about this thing, man. Y'all are playing these two girls. I'm not talking about every one of you that are here or that even watch this video. Y'all are playing these two girls against each other, and you're wanting them to fight each other when both of them have a mission, and the social influence is making them react to it, and it's very wrong. I seen it from the very get-go when I started seeing all the subscribers trying to push each other. Hey, go here, go subscribe to this person, don't be over here. Oh, don't like what she says because she's wrong. This girl over here, she's the one that you should be listening to. Like, man, y'all don't know who to listen to. You guys don't know the entire situation. You know what we see on social media. None of us are detectives in this matter that can actually go pinpoint exactly what's going on. We can use some common sense and we can look at these children and see that they need help. What we care about as the people in the community is the fact that we want these children to get help. We want them to be safe. We want them to be happy and live a very nurturing, caring life. That's what we want. We inherently want the best for everybody. But we also shouldn't be here trying to rip each other apart because we don't believe what one side says. Until you guys go get some kind of detective degree and get put on the case of what's going on, you don't have a say-so in the matter. Socially, we can express ourselves, but you don't actually have a say-so in the matter. And that's coming from an abuse victim. Literally, where they didn't want to help me. I went to the police multiple times and they didn't even believe me, with wounds on my body. I know the system fails, but a lot of times you can make the situation worse because of certain things that you're doing. Now, I don't know what, Michael, if Michael did anything to his boy to make him pop hot on that drug test. I don't know if Tend to Life's true intent was to just basically grow her channel by using these children as. I don't know that, and I'm not going to go there and accuse them of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see somebody that has exposed something and it's probably helped the child get help, and I'm going to say thank you for doing that. But I think it's petty when the subscribers of a channel go put so much pressure on the YouTuber that they almost force them into doing something because of them being a puppet. Now so many people have spoke up to that YouTuber and forced or made them feel bad about something, and you're playing them like a puppet. And it's wrong. Let them voice themselves the way they feel like they should voice them. They should voice themselves. If somebody popped up and said, I think this is fake," and I'm gonna make a video why, and that was an individual influence that happened inside of them, like they came up with that reason why, and they want to socially talk about it, then let them do that. But don't go there and a lot of people see this backfired on a lot of people. A lot of people came here trying to get me to talk bad about these ladies when I'm not here to talk bad about these ladies. I'm here to talk about the YouTubers that are doing, or the subscribers that are doing this kind of stuff that make no sense. It makes no sense to play these two women against each other and then try to go get somebody else on the bandwagon and say, "Come on, come on, come over here. Let me take you over here so you can see what this person's saying. It makes more sense. Come on, come on." Like a bunch of chatty Cathys that have nothing better to do. I'm not interested in all that. I'm interested in helping these children. I'm interested in telling my story as it goes. Just like I started this video with the true scenario situation that happened with me, so you can get a feel for the type of abuse that I've dealt with when I talk about these things. I'm not going to fault either one of these women, and I'm not going to talk bad about either one of these women. I have no problem with them doing what they do, and that's that. So I would kindly ask those people that are asking me to talk bad or change my mind about the situation to stop, please. Where I'm at in my life is I look at things very critically. I try to leave my emotions out of it when I look at it, even though I have been extremely hurt. And I want to try to help these children as much as I can. And if me exposing something initially is wrong, it ends up being something different later, but it helps in the meantime instead of retracting, I'm okay with that. That pressure alone, social media exposure alone is a lot of times what helps this stuff come out, and people trip over their own feet because of they're scared about so many people talking about it. So even when sometimes these people are wrong, it leads to justice in the end. Remember that. Just that pressure and that presence alone of the communication about the situation, regardless if somebody's right or wrong, even if Michael was wrong, eventually it will come out. But to go talking bad about somebody not knowing, I'm out. I'm not doing that. So I appreciate you guys listening to my little talk this morning about the situation. I don't want to seem hateful to anybody, but at the same time, I wanted you guys to know that these are the messages that I'm receiving in the message boxes. These are the messages that I'm trying to get involved, or people are trying to draw me into, and I don't want to be part of. I don't want to go talk bad about either one of these girls, and I support what they do, both of them. But I'm not going to go get involved with what's going on with them. And I'm not going to talk bad about what's going on with them. And I'm not going to say Sophie's lying, and I'm not going to say Michael's a bad guy and, he's done this X, Y, and Z. I don't know. I'm not the judge. But what I am going to do is I'm going to keep fighting for these kids. And if they need a voice, they got a voice in me. If they need an advocate, they have an advocate in me, and it's going to continue. It's not going to stop. Be blessed, y'all. I love you. Thank you for sitting here listening to me. If anybody else needs to talk about anything, there's always the message section. People can always email me, which I typically leave my email in the description, but lately I haven't been because of the amount of drama that's been going on in the message boxes, kind of like in the comment section under the video. if that's something that you do need to do, you do need to talk to somebody, you can always leave me a message and say, hey, send me your email. I want to talk. Somebody did that a week ago. They sent me an email and they said, hey, can we talk? I've got some issues I want to talk about. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to resolve those issues because they're outside of my spectrum. Some of that is financial stuff that I can't deal with. I mean, I don't have any kind of dealings with big finances to help people out. Like this person was really behind on rent and stuff like that. Like I'm talking thousands of dollars, and I can't help with stuff like that. I don't have the means to just give out thousands of dollars all in one shot to help somebody. Um, that was the hard part. That was being able to turn somebody away because now people see me and they're like, oh, this guy will be able to help me with all the people that watch him. Not necessarily. I mean, I could help somebody, get through. I could come on here and pop up on here and tell you guys a situation for somebody without using their name and say, look, it's a single mom. She's about to lose her home if she doesn't come up with the $800 for the rent. And if that's something you guys want to do, and we want to get somebody, on to the next month, at least one time to get to see if we can help them stay on their feet or a child stay in a home with their parent because of something like that, tell me about it. I'd be willing to set something up where we can help these mothers and fathers that need help. Uh, but that's something I need feedback from you guys on. I can't make that decision by myself. So I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna head to work. I got 10 minutes before I gotta leave, so it gives me enough time to go brush my teeth and all that stuff and be on the way. Thank you guys for watching again. I love y'all. Be blessed, and I hope you have a great day.